What's going on YouTube? Pinoid Dragon here. Today we're going to talk about the Origen V2 atomizer. Now, the Origen V2 is by Norbert. It is an RDA. Very nice RDA, might add. One of my favorites. Started out with the version 1. Got a version 2. And I've loved it ever since. Now with the Origen V2, big thing is really deep juice wells. You can't really see right there, but it is made for vertical wicking, as you can see. Right in here, right now, I got dual coils coming in at about 0.4 ohms. 6/7 wrap, 26 gauge canthode. Now the big difference between this and the V1, the chamber is smaller, so you're going to get a lot better flavor. Also, they changed the O-rings. Instead of the O-rings being on the deck, they are now on the top cap himself, which is what's holding it onto the deck, of course. And the biggest thing is the juice well. On the version 1, the juice well was actually 2 separate wells. On here, it's actually one giant juice well. So it holds more juice. It's a plus and a minus. Some people like the version 1 just because of those 2 wells, especially if you like mixing juices, like 2 different flavors in the same addy. It's just, yeah, it's not me. Personally, I prefer this. Now on here, I have this on the E7. This is a bottom fed mod with it, and I also have the bottom feeder kit installed in here, which means I can just push the squonk juice up and get into the atomizer. Now, yes, this has a well, so it does hold good juice. You can use this with either cotton or mesh. Preferably, I like cotton just because of how big those wells are, so it soaks up that juice and everything. Just because if you do tilt this, you know, got like this, you're not going to get juice leaking out. Whereas if it was mesh and that's full, you're going to get juice leaking out. So I prefer cotton in this preferably. Now with mesh you will get better flavor. I have done it before. It's just for more ease of use and not having to do that, I prefer the cotton. Now the flavor in this is still really intense. It's really good. That shortened cap, even though it's just a little bit, it is really good. It does have dual and single air hole capacities. Right now I have it in dual wide open, which is about 2 millimeters. And I will be doing up close and personal with this. I'll be coming in a little bit. Now, what this does, comes with a brass center pin, and it's a 22 millimeter addy. Each one is serial numbered and engraved on the bottom for the version 2. Version 1s did not have that, as you can see right there. Still one of my favorite atomizers. Now, let's take this under the microscope, take a look at it, see what's going on. Now let's put the Origen V2 under the microscope. This is what you're going to get when you get the full package. And you'll also get a couple of O-rings and I think another insulator if I'm not mistaken. But I already took this apart because, well, it's just easier that way. So here we have the top airflow control ring. Now as you can see, it has 2 holes on both sides, roughly about 3 millimeters, maybe a little bigger if I'm not mistaken. This is what you use for your airflow control. Just by looking at that, you'd think what? Dual air holes, right? That's what it's made for. Oh, guess what? This is your top cap. Airflow control ring will go right on top of this. Held on there by 2 O-rings. Now if you look at this, that spot right there, no air holes at all, right? Here you have 3 air holes. They vary in size from 1, 2, and 3 millimeters. Another quarter turn. Oh look, another 3. Another quarter turn, another 3. What's that mean? Now if you use this these holes here, and these holes with this airflow cap, that would mean you got a dual coils air hole setup. But if you use just these, this is for single airflow. Now, see, 3 air holes. Choose one of those. So let's say you choose the 3. On the other side, there is nothing. So that's a single airflow. Now, how this works is you're going to take the cap, put it on here. I'm going to put it at the full airflow at 3 because that's what I'm going to end up using it on anyway. Push it down, line up the holes. There you go, dual airflow max setting. Now, just to change this, you can adjust this. All you gotta do is hold it and turn it. There's 2, 1, or 3 millimeters at single coil. While on the other side, the air hole is blocked off. Now let me put that back. Again, dual airflow complete. You will also get an Allen wrench, and that is for the deck itself. Now, here's the deck. If you look at that, it looks kind of weird, right? See that? You got some really nice big juice wells. Now, the juice well in here, unlike the Origen V1, the juice wells were separate. This would literally be put in half, and this little spot and this little spot would be one airflow, or one juice well, sorry. But with the Origen V2, what they did, now it is one complete well. So this whole entire thing is a juice well at the same time. These 2 screws right here are your negative posts, and of course your positive will come through there. There's your insulators, 5, 10, everything. Another difference between this and the version 1, on the version 1, I don't have one to compare it to with me right at the moment, but Origen V1, the O-rings would be on the deck itself and not here on the top cap. On the top cap, on the V1, these would be switched around pretty much. Also, another big difference is the chamber is also smaller. Now look at small, that is small. And like I said again, the juice wells. Now, here's your center pin, or your center post, which is your positive pin. Brass, you know. There's your holes, and then your 2 screws. That pretty much being your locking your pin in, and then there's your to lock your screws in. No, so we get at it. So to assemble this. Now, I'm not going to be using the stock pins, because I am actually changing this to a bottom feeder setup. For a bottom, if you don't know what a bottom feeder is, it's pretty much where the juice will come through the bottom of the from the addy itself, or from the mod itself, I should say. Come through the center pin and into the juice wells. Now the center pin can be bought, or the bottom flow kit can be bought from other websites. I think I got mine from Vaping Craze, roughly about $17. Comes with its own center pin and its own caps. Now if you look at the difference between these, there's your big difference. See that hole right there? That is where the juice is going to go through here and come out this bottom hole. Now this top one is still for your positive connection on your leads, but not here. This is just for the juice to come out. Also, if you look at the bottom screw, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but this one that comes with the kit is going to have little notches right here so that juice can seep out. While in the original one, it doesn't have them. So this is what I'm going to be installing today, because I'll be using this on the E7, which is a bottom feeder. So this just goes in, just push it all the way through. You're going to take the nut. Now the grooves are going to go down, facing the deck. Just twist that in. This is what pretty much helps secure your addy or your positive pin in place. Then this will go on top of here, and this is what helps. This is what secures your coils. Now use the Allen key for your negative pins or your negative connections. I will be doing a dual coil setup, so just do that. There you go. Now I have 2 coils already made that I made earlier, just to make this a little faster. These are done around a 2mm bit, I think. Right there. 26 gauge Canthal at 6-7 wraps. Micro coils. So we're just going to take this. Now, what I do, this is how I run it. I always take the longer lead and put it at the bottom. It just makes it a little easier to run around. So you're going to take that, put it through the positive end, and I will take this and pop it in there, right, to hold it in place. Now from there, you're going to take this and you want to get it right there underneath the negative pin. Adjust that a little bit to get your general idea where you want it, and screw that down. There you go. Now, from here, you want to hold this like so. Adjust your coil a little more so where you want it, and twist that positively to the side. And take that out. We will clean that up later. Now you're going to take your second coil and do the same thing. Now, yeah, my coils are long. I buy my Canthal by the 100 feet, so I don't really mind wasting Canthal. And the longer leads makes it a lot easier to build, honestly. So, and I did that upside down. Heh, that's always fun. There we go. Again, this is only a single spot post, single hole, but it does fit perfectly. Might want to move that out of the way. Get that trapped under there. Adjust the general position, nice and tight. And screw it down. And there we go. And now we adjust. Tighten on the positive. Sorry about that. Sorry, I'm still getting used to building under the camera. There we go. Then cut these leads. There we go. Clean up a little bit. Now from here, just gotta adjust that a little bit. Just adjust it. Get these where you want them perfectly. Nice. Look at that. And we are coming out at 3.4. Okay, so 3.4 now. We want to test fire these just like any other Addy or any other build. You always want to test fire these on a mech. Okay, so we're going to test fire these on a mech. Tighten these up, clean them up a little bit. Got to get them nice and even. Glowing nice and bright, nice and even, it looks like. Just a little more. There you go. We good. Now what I'll be using this on is the E7 by Sunbox. This is a DNA. I want to make sure that's off. It's a DNA 30 device. Possible review coming on soon. Just need to add some cotton to this. Just make sure it fires. Alright, now we're going to put in the cotton. I'm using Chadosan Japanese cotton. It's just the cotton I've always used. It's just what I like. Now, this Addy is made for vertical wicking. So these kind of tweezers, a nice pair of tweezers will always come in handy. Just to get in there and pull these down. I like to pull a lot extra in there. Just to get it nice and get it down in the juice well like that. Get it nice like that. Get this second one going. There we go. Now, I'm gonna cut this on. I'm gonna cut that excess off. You don't need too much extra on there. Just a little bit above the coil, which would be fine. Come on. What I do is I clean it up a little bit like that. Just put them next to the coils. Okay, there you go. Looks like I cut a little too much on there. So now what we want to do is get that a little nice and wet. Now instead of using the bottom fed function, I'm just going to add a little on here just to be safe because I want to test fire it first. I'm using a juice from a local shop around here. Go. Now, to show off that little bottom fed function, there you go, right there. Now when I press it, see how it comes through there? Juice comes from the bottom, fills up that well. That's where the bottom fed function comes in handy. Now let's test it out. How she goes. Nice. Alright, let's go back to the top and talk about this a little more. End it. Alright, welcome back, guys. That was a microscopic look at the Origen V2. Now, I said in the video that the air holes were like 1, 2, and 3 millimeters. I was wrong. They are actually 1.2, 1.5, and 2 millimeter air holes. 2 millimeters being the widest, which is what I'm using that at right now. Now, this is just one of my favorite atomizers. I've just always had one. I started out with a V1, like I said earlier, got a V2, just ended up selling both of those, and regretted it ever since. I ended up getting me another one, which is this one right here, and I will never get rid of it. It is one I will always have with me, no matter what. Now, this is not a cheap atomizer, guys. These run around $120, which is every place I've seen. But I did find on vapefiends.com, that is Vape Fiends with an S, they run about 110. Now, I would recommend getting one of these. Again, you're going to have to look at your budget, see if you can afford it. I understand that, but you cannot go wrong with this. This is one that will always stay with you and you will always love, in my opinion. I'll put a link in the description for Vape Fiends. You can check it out. I really suggest getting one of these atomizers. Again, my favorite. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope I helped y'all out. Y'all have a good one. Peace out.